This has now been a long beaten horse for both this season as well as probably the last half decade, if not more. And I think that most, including myself, have looked at this from the same approach recently. That Fox Sports needs a massive improvement from the crap that we have now. And I'm going to be real, it is true. Fox Sports has not been that good, but in general, NASCAR broadcasts have been on a downward spiral for around a decade now. And it needs immense changes. So today, I really want to go through and say both what Fox and NBC can do better, but also what things they can build upon that they're doing really well at the moment. Starting off with the broadcasts for Fox Sports. Getting the bad out of the way first. The big one is too much comedy in the broadcast. This has been a growing issue for years now, as Fox has always had comedy, but now it's really leaned into that corner way too much. And this has really taken place in the waning years of Darrell Waltrip's tenure into the current one we have now with Clint Bowyer. The racing in this time left much to be desired, and Fox picked up the slack with this kind of stuff. And this has only continued to get worse and worse with Bowyer, who has clearly been put in the broadcast booth to be a comedic character more than anything. While being good at the start of his tenure, the lack of substantial information along with the routine has just left him grating on the audience. This has been a theme for Fox's broadcast overall. While Fox has tried to keep a loose, funny energy over its entire tenure since 2001, they still were always informative back in the day. Much of the in-depth analysis during the broadcast has been replaced by more announcer-focused content during the races. And it's not only during the race itself either. The pre-race show this year has been an absolute catastrophe. The point of a pre-race show is to inform the audience about everything they need to know before a race, not to do stupid skits. Back in the day, NASCAR and Fox's pre-race shows, yes, I said shows, gave a huge amount of info to the audience, as well as speculation, and in the case of NASCAR Race Day, actual at-track fan engagement. This is sorely lacking nowadays, and would really benefit both the overall broadcast when it comes to Fox's pre-race show right before the race, as well as the sport as a whole by having more engagement like NASCAR Race Day used to have. Not just a dumbed-down CGI, sterile environment. If you look at a Fox Sports NASCAR broadcast, you really wouldn't miss anything if you missed the pre-race show. Overall, the broadcasts don't have focus. Speaking of focus, there's 2 points that can be improved upon with Fox. One is the focus of the cameras. Seriously, half the broadcast seems to be children in the grandstands, which I don't mind too much of, or zoom-in shots so close to the cars you can see the damn molecules on them. But another thing is that the cameras are focused on the front of the field nearly exclusively. This is a huge issue with NBC as well, where the announcers may talk about one thing in the middle of the pack with great racing, but the cameras aren't focused on them because they're focused on the first place driver being 5 seconds ahead of second. It means that there's great racing out there, but we aren't seeing it. This shapes how we view the sport overall, as well as the product, and basically everything having to do with the Sunday broadcasts. Presentation, especially in TV, is everything. Part of this presentation is, of course, the commercials. Commercials are nothing new in NASCAR broadcasting, and let's be real, commercials are the lifeblood of NASCAR. Whether it's the ads on the cars, the ones at the tracks, or the ones on TV, there's gonna be tons of them. But they are even less frequent nowadays than in years past. But nowadays, fans don't take too well to any kind of commercials anymore. People will get mad at you if you have a 15-second YouTube ad in a video. Let alone a commercial break-laden 3.5-hour broadcast. Streaming, in the most part, has really been having the customer foot the bill for the entertainment they desire. If Fox broadcasts were to either rectify these problems or lessen all of them, it would make it so much better for a viewer to watch them. But Fox does have some good merits that people definitely overlook. Mike Joy being the biggest among them. Joy is the best modern broadcaster, and let's be real, he may be the best NASCAR announcer ever. The guest analysts in 2022 with Joy and Boyer have also been pretty good thus far. Most recently seeing Chad Knaus, who had an absolutely great and in-depth debut with his information that he gave that actually helped the viewers get in the know. The Richmond race was a big strategy race, and having a crew chief like him there to explain a lot of that was absolutely critical and crucial to making it enjoyable for people to watch on TV. And this is actually similar to Fox Sports 1's Xfinity coverage. So far this year, Xfinity coverage has been much more enjoyable than any of the NASCAR Cup Series broadcasts, especially the fact that Mike Joy's career is likely in its closing moments. Having a good successor like Adam Alexander is a comfort in my opinion. Now, Fox Sports isn't the only culprit or success story, no matter how much you love or loathe either of them. NBC Sports has different things to look at as well. So again, we're going to get the bad out of the way first. To start with, while NBC stays on topic, they tend to think yelling means exciting. When there's yelling in the first few laps of the race, it kind of lessens the impact of the same thing in the last couple laps. This is continuing in the playoffs as well. NBC coverage will, of course, focus on the playoffs, as they should. It's the most important time of the year when you look at what it builds up to as a season. Not at the expense of the rest of the field, though. It shouldn't be, at least. This was how NBC did it from 2004 to 2006 with the Chase, and they do the same thing with their current stint, especially towards the end of the year, when there's only 4 to 8 drivers to focus on. This really becomes an issue when NBC moves the show from, well, NBC for other programs. Say what you will about Fox, they rarely would move a broadcast from main Fox to FS1 unless they absolutely need to do it. The main thing that NBC moves it for is Sunday Night Football because of the time constraints they put with later starts. After the 2015 Homestead finale ran late into Sunday Night Football's pregame show, NBC has been trying to avoid the two's overlap due to the backlash that football fans gave them for putting NASCAR over their football coverage. That 2015 race was a ratings hit for NASCAR because of this, but in the short term, the gains were probably not worth it when you look at the long-term future problems. The big one to remember is the 2020 Talladega race, which was moved off of NBC when it ran a little late. NASCAR needs partners that will back them more than NBC recently has shown to do so when it comes to keeping them on the main channel. Now, while there's problems with NBC, there's plenty that they've done well too. Dale Jr. is the big one, the biggest one that I think they've done, because ever since his slide job call at the Chicagoland Speedway in 2018, he's been a near perfect fit for them. With both a knowledge of the sport's history and a very recent driver's mentality, he offers a unique perspective that not many other drivers have done when they jump into the booth. He's part of a booth as well that oozes with chemistry. No matter which combination that is put together in the NBC booth, the 3 or 4 of them, however many they have in there, come across as friends with each other that are just sitting at home watching a race, pointing out different things that would inform the audience. Now, they tend to also participate in different things for NBC. NBC has shown more of a willingness to experiment with the same old formula. Just look at their road course coverage as a prime example. There are things that work with the safe option of coverage, but experimentation is needed to have growth and improvement that can really push the sport forward. Overall, there's plenty to dislike, but also plenty to like about modern NASCAR broadcasts. And if these can be more realized and kind of overhauled overall, NASCAR coverage can really improve quickly. But now I've said my piece. I want to hear what you think. How do you think NASCAR broadcasts can be improved? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And to all my channel members, thank you so much for your continuous support. So until next time, have a good one.